If you want to write the AWS exam, the first place to go to is aws.com/certification. That's the first place you need to go to. This page allows you to understand more about what certificates are there and what exactly do you need to know about that particular exam that is coming up. Okay, so if you scroll a bit down on this page, you click on Cloud Practitioner. This takes you to the Cloud Practitioner page where you get details about this particular exam that you want to write. It's very important that you take note of what exactly is required. This is the foundation in terms of the category, 90 minutes to complete all of the questions, and there are 65 questions. Those questions are multiple choice and multiple responses. What does it mean? It means you'll get questions where you need to choose one answer from the list given. You can also get a question where you need to choose 2 or 3 answers from the list given, where it's multiple responses. But all of the questions are still multiple choice anyway. The cost of the exam is $100. You can take the exam at the testing center or at your own house. I normally prefer to use the testing center because my house is very noisy. Sometimes there's a cat on my table. The door just opens randomly when I'm writing. It's just bad. I cannot write at home. So that's why I prefer the testing center. The default language for the exam is English, but we do support other languages as well. Okay. If you are ready, you can then schedule the exam. But before you go to that, let me show you a couple of things. Number one, get to know the exam and the exam style questions by looking at the exam guide. Very, very important. This is the document you need to know and at least read it because it tells you more about the exam that you are going to write. The first line tells everything about this exam. This exam is CLF C02, which means it's a second version of the Cloud Practitioner exam. So whatever content you are utilizing, wherever you get it, make sure it is aligned to C02 exam. Because if it is not, it may not be including the latest services that are included in the latest exam. And thereby you won't really be getting the latest information. What also more important as well is that you have domains. If you scroll a little bit down on this page, you have domains. These are very important. It's something that you need to understand thoroughly. Domains are divided into 4 here, and you have different percentages of each of the domain among the questions of the exams. Domain 1 is about the cloud concept. What exactly is a cloud? What are the benefits of the cloud? Domain 2 is about security and compliance. How do you remain secure in the cloud? Domain 3 is about cloud technology and services. How do you actually deal with EC2, Amazon S3, Amazon RDS, so on and so forth. And then lastly, about billing, pricing, and support. In case you get stuck, who do you ask? In case I'm overcharged, how can I scrutinize my bill? And how do I even pay for AWS? These domains are thoroughly discussed at the bottom. Like domain 1, if you scroll a bit down here, here is domain 1. Domain 1 has a couple of task statements. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and I believe 1.4. So these are items you need to understand about domain 1. You need to be comfortable with each and every line in these domains before you can even write. If something is not clear there, you need to go and find out what those things are. You have domain 2, security and compliance. You need to understand about the shared responsibility model. You need to understand about cloud security, governance, and compliance, and what services can you actually utilize to remain secure in the cloud. Okay. What's nice about these domains is that we also mention some of the items you need to know for the particular domain. Like for your AWS compliance, you need to know about AWS artifacts. Not too much, just on the high level. You need to know about the AWS compliance page, where you can get to understand what other customers are doing when it comes to compliance. AWS Shield, AWS, the Amazon Guard Duty, AWS Security Hub, so on and so forth. So there's quite a lot. If you do get stuck on answering some questions, there is a documentation page. But recently, I have found that if you use, let me just open a new session here. If you use Amazon Q Developer and chat with it, this is our generative AI sort of an application that you can chat with. Maybe you want to ask about what is Amazon RDS. You can tell it to keep it short, if of course you are in a rush, and you're going to ask it, and it's going to generate those answers for you. So personally, whenever I'm studying and I'm getting stuck and I need a quick answer, Amazon Q Developer is the best one. You can install it on your own machine, on Linux, Mac, or even Windows, and then run it on the terminal and ask it questions. Amazon Q Developer is also available on the documentation page and even on your management console as well. This is Amazon Q Developer, where you can ask it questions about anything related to AWS. That especially if you get stuck and you don't even know where to go from there. Okay. So that was exam guide. So another item to show you as well is under Skill Builder. Skill Builder is our learning platform that many customers are utilizing. So one thing to search for is of course the AWS Cloud Practitioner Essentials. So this particular course is a digital course that is free of charge for anybody. It is aligned to the Cloud Practitioner Exam. So if you have never attended the Cloud Practitioner before, this will be a good place to be. If you have attended it before, this will be like a revision to you. This is pre-recorded and free of charge for anyone who is part of a Skill Builder. So I do urge you to go on and have a look at that. And how did I get that? Just by searching for AWS Cloud Practitioner Essentials within Skill Builder. Then I'm able to get to it. The other item to share with you as well is the official practice questions. So these are also available within Skill Builder. And I will want to say that they are exactly the same questions that appear in the exam. Even though AWS doesn't want us to say that, they want us to say they're at the same level in terms of difficulty. But to me, they look like they are ones that appear in the exam. But of course, there is this set which is 20 questions, and there's another one which is 65 questions. And of course, use any material that you can ever find to learn about AWS. So as a last final piece from my side, I will say have a look on the white papers. AWS white papers are the best way of learning about AWS. I was just searching for AWS white papers here directly on the internet, and then from there it takes you to the white paper page where you can search for white papers. For many of the exams, there are white papers that you do need to read. So especially when you are done, we have answered some questions and you think you are now ready, these are the best place to just spend your time, your last few hours or days while you are just digesting all of that. The paper that I recommend anybody doing any exam is called the Overview of AWS. Let me see if I can get that. It's normally hidden somewhere around here. Yeah, this page here. So this white paper, I urge you to please read it. You can download it as a PDF, put it on your Amazon Kindle or your iPad or whatever else, and just read as a novel. It tells you a lot about different AWS services. And the nice thing about these papers is that it's not at a granular level, it's at a high level to give you the understanding, which is actually sufficient as a cloud practitioner, exam writer. It's very, very good. Do check it. And of course, there are many other white papers that can also assist you, like the well-architected framework, different pillars of the architected framework. Those are also very, very beneficial to understand as well. There's many ways you can practice. Like we have AWS hands-on labs. These are like tutorials that are useful, but you need to run them in your own account. Very, very useful hands-on tutorials. They are stunning, especially if you are learning about AWS. Like maybe under compute, you want to deploy a web app on Nginx using AWS App Runner. We didn't talk about App Runner, but it's something that you must know on the high level. So here's a very simple one. It takes you about 20 minutes, but in your own account. So hands-on, it's one of the most useful one that you could certainly utilize to get used to dealing with AWS. So definitely try that. And there used to be another one as well called workshops. Let me see if I still remember that. Workshops.aws. Workshops.aws. There was a link like that. Yeah, it still exists. So this is also a good one as well, to take some workshops that relates to what you are trying to learn. Maybe let's say you are learning about API gateway. You can look for the ones that are either 200 in terms of the level or 100, which is the foundation, and then take those and do them. It's a very interesting one about serverless on level 200 that you can actually do. But of course, they require you to have your own AWS account to practice those. Very, very interesting.